right, y'all. It is Wednesday and it is the 12th of June, and we are continuing Pride Explosion. Tonight, I have Tebias Perry, somebody that's extremely influenced in our community, the leather community, kink community, and the community as a whole, because really we're the ones doing the activism and the intellectual thought here in the leather community. And I think sometimes we need a little bit more credit than that. I want y'all to remember that Throwing Light is a collaboration with Asheville Sexual Health and Wellness. If you can, go visit ashwellatx.org, donate or learn about the different content that they have provided for us here in our local area. You can donate no matter where you are if you just feel like they are something that's, we need and we need to grow and to support. So as a part of our Pride Explosion, we are having extra episodes this month to try to tune in and focus on ways to enhance our community. I'm going to go ahead and get started with tonight's episode with Tebias Perry. Tebias, hello, how are you?
Lewis, what's good, man? What's good?
Well, what I do know is that the Real Housewives of Atlanta got a cash shakeup. So I don't know if you run into any of them that aren't working anymore.
They they really are nice ladies, though. Most of them, for the most part, the ones that I've met, they are really nice ladies. And
I
I,
did
I
have an
see them on the
opportunity.
walking trail
I had an
sometimes.
opportunity to go eat at the old lady gang, so that's as close as I got. Mhm. I
No, everything is good. Everything is good.
So I want people to know though, I mean, just the fact that we are on a level now where we can converse, I can see you like your presence and your influence is large, and I'm sure people can get intimidated by who you are and your name, maybe. I don't know, maybe okay. So um you are the life of the party. You are just an amazing person, everything that you're doing. But I have to give kudos to somebody that's creating structure, and that's so important. Why don't we go ahead and talk a little bit about you and what got you into your journey as a mentor in the leather community?
Well, my journey starts all the way back to 2001, and I was in South Florida. I was under Sir Mario, and at the time I was a boy. And he decided to move back to Mexico. I decided to leave South Florida because nothing else was there for me. And I moved to Atlanta and I found Onyx. My journey started there with transitioning from a boy, learning more stuff about what I wanted to do and in that. And then as far as the mentorship came about in 2009, 2010, where Master Bruce, Boy Richard, and Sir Yardy, was currently a member of Onyx, and it was more or less for the competition side of it. And then the competition side made me find out more authentically who I was and what I wanted to do along my journey. So the activism, the mentorship, the competition part of the leather community, sharpening my skill sets, my kinks, what turned me on, et cetera, it kind of grew and exploded from there. So certain parts of my mentorship was about education. What do you want to teach? What do you want to be proficient in? So one was teaching me that part, the other one was teaching me competition, and the other one was teaching me more about the inner parts of myself and speaking from the heart. Those are Master Bruce's words. Speak from the heart, influence people, love people, meet them where they are, those type things. So my three-part mentorship really set me on this path of me being a mentor myself. So here I am, competed for IML in 2014, placed ninth, though I should have won. I'm humbled. I'm very humbled that my brother Remy and Pierre was a victor for that year. And then it's just been my goal and my journey has been just uphill since then, and it's never been about my personal visibility more so than what I was saying. I've always wanted my words to be impactful, to change, to bring light and not darkness, to bring positivity and not shade. And the other thing too is to be vettable. being able to say, who is this Lewis? Who is LTJ Reeves? Who do I know in Austin that can vet him? And that really made me think how serious this thing and these spaces are to be protected so we can do and grow and thrive as a kink fetish leather community. So that's where my journey pretty much started, though that was pretty much long-winded. But here I am with leather mentorship and working on leather leadership at this point.
So you're based in Atlanta. Is that where you always have been?
No, I'm actually, I retired from Delta Airlines a
Okay.
couple of years ago. I
Uh,
retired from Delta Airlines a couple of years ago.
Delta, come on
Uh,
now. We're gonna
The
talk
only way to fly, baby, is the only way to fly.
I
So
want to say for the record, I do love Delta. I really do. I
I
just
know.
I don't know. I do.
And then now that I'm retired, ironically, I just love a seat. I don't care who I don't care who I fly on as long as it's a seat. But Delta is in my heart. So to answer your question, I do live in Atlanta, but I got married 3 years ago. So I reside in Atlanta and I reside in London, UK as well too, because
Okay.
my husband is British.
Right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So you mentioned something really important, taking serious and stuff. So as me, as someone that's been a title holder, I'm now in my 8th month and I've done some growing and showing, baby. I've grown a lot. But those first 4 months were really, really hard for me. And I not until I got my hands on leather mentorship that things clicked that I was doubting about. When I got this title, I thought my responsibility was to work with anyone and everyone as quick as possible, right? I want to show that I can work with anyone and everyone. But I'm in Texas, baby, and Austin got a different energy than Houston, and Houston got a different energy than Dallas, and Dallas got a different energy than San Antonio. Houston got 4 million people over there, not trying to say anything shady or whatever, but clearly there's going to be a lot more tension and drama because you got a lot more people. So, me being in Austin, even with this leather title, my first thing is to go, I'm going to reach out to my leather siblings and try to get some footing and understanding as I'm going into the community, right? Now, I went out until I started building the relationships, at the beginning of my title, but I really didn't understand, when it came down to doing the actual work in the community, not everyone that wants to be a leader has that skill set. And I think what I took most from your book, where I want you to pick up here, is that it's okay to ask about other people in our community. It's not rude. It's okay. Someone that you want to work with, that you do better, they're probably glad that you asked about them and people sent you to them. But I know that I've seen mentors that are just always positive and forthcoming and things like that. And I have leaned on my mentors a lot, and I don't make any serious decisions that I know they're going to affect the community without talking to a mentor. So, or like Will Weaver or someone like that, because at the end of the day, I'm still kind of I'm fairly new to this community, and I'm not trying to hurt people, and I want to make sure that something I say or do doesn't hurt somebody. You get what I'm saying? So, you being in this community, you said it's serious to have the right relationships with people and be able to lean on people. Make sure someone that reaches out and says, "Hey, I'm a sir," that this is someone that you want to be under. What made you discover what I would say this? How did you know we needed this etiquette? I guess you could say.
You mean specifically that we needed something within the framing of leather mentorship?
Correct.
Okay, I'm gonna start. I have it's two parts.
Okay.
First and foremost, I saw you compete in 2022, and I think you did very, very well. Very well. Remember that one in 2022
Yes, Mr.
when you
Texas.
competed?
Yes.
You did. You looked very well, and I thought you presented yourself very well. Now, when it comes down to leather mentorship, I didn't know initially that I had the spoons to do this. This was a whole year and a half of contemplating, with me calling Master Bruce, me talking to Vince Andrews, me talking to Boy Richard and Sir Yardy, then going back to Vince Andrews. And Vince, if anyone knows Vince Andrews, who wrote the Leather Boy Handbook, just said, and he's a potty mouth, and so am I. And I think that's why we get along so well, is that he just said, Tobias, write the fucking book. Write the book. Everyone is not going to like it, but people are going to like it as well. Just write the book. And and I told my husband, it was the most nervous thing that I think that I've ever done, as far as like nerves getting the best of me. I would get the manuscript, hammer it out when I was in Mexico for 2 months. Then I would put it away, and then I would come back to it. But I felt that it was needed because there were so many mistakes, Lewis, that I made early on as a boy, as a young sir, and then moving into a master, from Master Lily. There were mistakes that were made. So I felt that I had come to a juncture where I wanted to really put something in blueprint so that people would not fall into the pitfalls that I fell into, because I fell in pitfalls that I was not supposed to come out of, that I was not supposed to mentally or physically survive. But here I am. And every single chapter, every single word, every single paragraph is based on a body of my experiences. And I felt that it was needed because there are so many detours that people can take that could leave them hopeless. Because depression plays a large role in some parts of our community, and I wanted to make sure that people weren't falling into some pitfalls that I fell into. So I took a leap of faith. Vince and I went through 9 months of editing and restructuring the book, photo shooting, the cover, with, because I talked about toxic masculinity, and then the cover of the book is literally me in a 40-pound manure skirt, leather skirt. So we kind of wanted it to be strategic.
Yeah.
And here we are with my volume 1 of Leather Mentorship.
Volume 1. Oh, there's another
Yes.
volume coming.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is exciting. Well, that means, guess what? Guess who's coming back on my show?
And one more little anecdote that I wanted to add into it. The reason that I wanted it to be, as you and I talked before the recording about being a 101 volume, is that I wanted it to be palpable and digestible, so that and subject matter, so that people can go to sexual deviancy in chapter 4, how to vet, when to vet, who to vet, and going back to your previous statement that you made earlier. If you're vetting someone for mentorship, or vetting someone for a slave, for a boy, for a girl, for someone to play with, they should be vettable. Someone in some community should know their body of work, or should know something about them. And anyone, Lewis, who is fearful of being vetted, beware and run the other way, because that is the biggest red flag right there. So there
Red
you are.
flags, red
Right,
flags.
it's over there.
Baby, I don't like red flag. If I see a red flag, I get the hell out of there. You ain't got to tell me twice. I'm a smart. I ain't got to tell everybody I am the final girl in a horror movie. I'm not dying. Okay, so going back to more of the vetting thing too, and I guess why this was a really such important to me as being someone's a title holder, is that I started getting fatigue again trying to work with everybody. But where I made the mistake was is just being accessible to everybody, and I learned with that, and thinking that you have to help everybody that comes to you. I have already put myself in situations where I didn't fully really know the people, and it ended up me backing away because you can make moves in the community and not disrupt it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to disrupt the community. I'm trying to stay in that. And so, how can people go about doing the vetting? Like, what is appropriate to, no one that is vettable is going to get upset that you vetted them, right? Okay.
Mm-mm.
So what type of things should people be looking for in their initial vetting process?
Typically what I do what is most basic. If I know someone is soliciting me for mentorship, and let me just preference this, let me set it up. People can have multiple mentors. So if you get one of these greedy mentors, like everything you're going to bring to me, run the other way. So I'm going to say that a lot during this interview.
Yeah.
If someone is trying to block you from knowing something about them, run the other way, especially dynamics or anything of that nature. So the first thing I typically start with, if someone is soliciting me, I will ask, what do you in my body of work? What do you know about me and where I'm from? Who have I mentored? What have you heard about me? What boards have I sat on? So I start with the basics of who knows this person? Who knows this person in Austin? Let me call Will Weaver, or let me call Caprice, or let me call Gabe, or something like that, or somebody in Texas that may know you. I start there first. Then I go to their socials, all of their socials. And this is prior to, and it's like the courting stages, like we're getting to know each other. If I say, hey, Lewis, I think I want you to be a mentor. That's the first thing I do is stop them, say, go find out everything you want about me. And then when we come back to that, I may not have the capacity based on the negotiations, what you need, what you want from me. I may have to pass you on to Will Weaver, or I may have to pass you on to Pussycat because I may not have what you exactly need. So, as we said before, and I hope I answered your question, anyone who is running from vetting, that's not your tribe.
So
So,
you know, my IMO siblings are probably going to be upset with me bringing this up, but this just happened. One of them got a random message from somebody saying that if they submit to this person, that they're going to help them win IML. And I'm like, one, did you know that this person already just competed at IML? But like getting into that, dude, you got some people are stupid.
and
Like,
that's not the way it works.
but and I'm going to say this because if it's true, it's true. Then he said that he was the mentor for Gael. Now I've lost it. I'm upset because I really don't have the rest of the story after that. But I'm just telling you that this is what we're talking about here, though. First of all, nobody should be like baiting you, correct? And be like,
No,
if you come to me, I promise that you'll get this. That's where that you talk about that. That's not a mentorship. You know what I'm saying?
no. Let me give you. Um, I'm going to give you my version of it. Um, Jamal, for instance, everyone knows that Jamal is my son. I love him dearly. I've embraced him like like an eagle to his chicks. I've been very protective over him. He's shadowed me. He's I've poured into this beautiful spirit and this beautiful person. And it's been difficult. The evolution of influencing people is something that I take very seriously, very seriously. And everything that I poured into him, he just sponged it out. But there is no magical potion. There's no magical potion to pour into someone to say, I'm going to sprinkle these ingredients on you and you're going to win IML.
Exactly.
There is no, there is no thing that can do that. Me having been a volunteer, me having been a contestant, me having been a judge of IML, I respect a lot of contests and a lot of organizations, but that one, what Chuck Renslow put into a bottle with Uncle Joey, with Jeff Tucker, John Krongard, um, Kylon, Fred, all of them that poured into this, Tib, Lenny, all of them that poured into this organization for 46 years. For me, for me, being in this community for 23 years, almost 24 years, it is the pinnacle of what we are and what we do. And I can assure you from where I sit, it is real, it is transparent, and I wouldn't believe anything otherwise than people show up to that stage to be their very best. And if they receive even anything from the stage, and it's not about who was the first or who was the last. It's about the experience of you gaining brothers in your class. That is the magic. And as I said in my top 20 speech at IML, we need to build a bigger and better leather community. And that's all that it's about. And to be honest with you, Lewis, the real work starts after the curtains close and after you go back to your respective communities. You take those experiences from IML, that link and that love and that bonding from the medallion ceremony, you take that magical shit back to your community and you love on people as if what happened during that weekend. That's the real purpose that Renslow and all of them built and structured for it to be. And that is the legacy of what IML really stands for.
I have my medallion here, and so
Hello.
now, to be honest with you, so it was actually 2023 I competed, so it was just last year.
I
Yeah.
thought it was that was
Oh,
the first time.
it went quick, yeah. And the next thing you know, I won Mr. Austin Eagle. It's been a very fast. I people tell me they see the growth. I know I have, especially now. But the
Mm,
way I took IML and how I've been digesting it has been what I perceived as constructive criticism. IML is a contest of winners, and I had to realize that we go as winners.
mhm,
Not, it's just like a reality show a little bit. Like everybody translates differently in a competition setting. Okay.
mm,
Yeah, I'm out here doing throwing light and all this type of stuff, but where I forgot and what I thought was to tell my story through my aesthetic. And that's like my interview went well. Sage presence did not go well. I was also contestant number one, so I was nervous as hell. But still, I am still in the oven baking, and I'm okay with that. I
mm,
have been in this community under 2 years, and I'm already an international, Mr. Leather. I'm international Mr. Leather. You know
right.
what I'm saying? That's amazing. Let me step back. Let me say, you know what? Good job.
Mhm,
You got on this stage and you wanted people to take you seriously, and they do.
mm,
This is forever throwing light. This is a global thing. We've got to keep pushing. It doesn't stop here, but no more people know what I'm about. And all
mhm,
I was concerned with, because I did not make top 20, did I do enough to win people over? And I think I did. And so
right.
then to when with Jamal winning, there was a sense of peace because I knew that he supports what I'm doing. And I knew there would be no Jamal does not have this win with any intention other than to use it for good. And I know that.
Right.
He
Right.
comforted me during the competition. Okay. He comforted me a lot during that competition. Okay. And he went on to win. And I was like, exactly. For somebody to, because I'll be honest with you, a lot of people had to call me because, again, I was contestant number one. So But I will never forget Jamal for how he made me feel during IML, and I'm forever indebted to have anybody through that process that was like, Lewis, are you doing okay? It's going to be okay, all that type of stuff. You get what I'm saying? Because
And
it,
Lewis, and keep in mind also, just because I wrote a book on leather mentorship, Jamal's win is not attributed to me for me saying, "Oh, I poured into this kid, and
oh,
this is what made him win IML." No, everything that Jamal possessed, he already had it in him. He just need to be. He just needed to be. I think he needed to be led to how to use it and where to show his best, to be at his best. It had nothing really to do with me. I just saw the potential in him, and me as well as our team helped bring that out of him. So it was in him all along. He's a beautiful person, beautiful man. I mean, beautiful heart,
yeah,
beautiful aesthetic, beautiful locks, beautiful skin, beautiful body. And then he's confident and he stands 10 toes down on that. He's the real deal.
yes.
Not that anyone is less, but I mean,
Um,
he really presented himself beautifully that
and,
weekend.
for me, for my experience, again, physique, stage presence, that is your persona. And it's easy to get caught up and forget who you were. And I have to get to a point where I can step on the stage and not forget who I am. I say there are other ways for me to step on the stage. Because I had a conversation with Jamal just a couple. I was like, should I do this again? Like he was like, no, don't do this again. You don't need to do this again. That's what he said. Jamal told me we just talked about it. He said you don't need to do this again. I said, okay, we're going to see if this is IML is truly the launch pad that I believe it's going to be for me. Look, I'll be honest with you, I'm starting to float my name around and be MC, stuff like that, ways that I can excel in the community. I would love to be the MC for IML one year and be standing next to whoever contestant number one is and be like, it's gonna be okay.
You'll be all right. You got it, man. You got it. I mean, you have a platform and people really listen to you. I've listened to a couple of your interviews that you've had and love them all. I mean, it's just you getting out there, finding what your niche is, and just sticking to it because people are listening. They really are.
And by you having you on the show, may like that's an affirmation of the work. You know what I'm saying? Because if
I'm
you
just
thought
a
I was wasting
regular guy,
time, I
Lewis,
would be
just
sitting right
regular.
here. Like I don't know, it was really great. I know we didn't get to spend a whole lot of time during IML. Look, that's I was in. It's busy. IML is a busy thing. There's so many people to engage to and stuff like that. But like it's like it was literally like go here, go here, go there. So it was just all over the place. But we
Mm,
got to spend time during Awesome Key Weekend. It was phenomenal. I
yes,
love that, and I'm sure we're going to keep seeing each other.
of
I'm going to be
course.
going to Dory actually, Dory Alley in
Oh,
San Francisco. Yeah,
I love Dory.
I
I
figured
love.
that Jamal would be my first sibling that I would go visit. So
Get ready. All I can tell you is
I've
just
been
get
before. I
ready.
went last year. That's why I'm going back. And I think Spencer Adam will be there too and whatever. So I'm talking to Kieran too, so we can get a group of people to go down there. But
Love both of them.
we're at the point where we get to end my show. At the end of it, I usually am dramatic and like prolong it and take a long time to get to the question. But anyways, it's the same question I give everybody. Is there any aspect or part of our community that you feel that we're not shedding enough light on?
There are so many. There are so many. But specifically, what I will say, and what I'm just going to say it because there's no easy way to say it. But I think that when we say POC, this is something that I'm currently working on because I do journalism, I write articles, all this other stuff. When we say POC, I'm kind of disturbed by that just a little bit because when we say POC, and as Jamal said in his top 20 speech, Black voices and Black voices are still silenced. And now when I write, When I say POC, I'm talking about Black people. I'm talking about Black voices, Black experiences. And if other people want to mention POC from other parts of our community, represent that by all means. And I can be your cheerleader as well. But when I'm talking about people of color and all of this, when I'm writing certain parts of it, I'm talking about the Black experiences through a Black lens. And I think we need to make that our cornerstone before we can really tap into a deeper level of when we use people of color. And when we say people of color, or we want diversity or DEI, that's on the equity or on equity or inclusiveness or equity or equality. Excuse me. When we use equity or equality, DEI, we need to make sure that all of those experiences are brought to the present and to the stage. So we can just throw out diversity, 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 diversity. And people thinking that, for instance, just an all Latino cast or something, that is diversity. That's not diversity. Our trans brothers and sisters, Asian, Latino, American Indian, as much diversity as we can pour into it, that's the only thing that I'm rocking with. So when I speak of POC, that's what I think that we need to bring more light to as a community, because the flag is just growing. We're growing so many different levels of our pride flag this year, and I
Adding
think we
letters,
just need.
adding more letters. That's going to be.
Yeah, we're adding more letters to it. I'm
That's gonna be
almost forgetting some of the letters.
now that it's getting a little difficult. Some of us don't have
Yeah,
skills like that, so we might have to have a conversation about that.
right. But
But when
everyone
everyone's
deserves
ready to have that conversation.
everyone deserves a slice of the pie, and
Yeah.
I want mine.
So let me tell you this, and just to wrap that up, for me, I am just stuck in being specific because I don't want something like, oh, all lives matter, which is, and that's this racial backlash against Black Lives Matter. You're saying, oh, you don't, but no, like this is the reality. Black people, African Americans, there is their experience, our experience, because I am a Creole heritage, I am Black. I'm in Louisiana, where it's just black and white tension. And so because I don't act like what they think is a stereotype as a Black person is, I'm white. That's it. I'm in Texas. There's this third element called Hispanics. Like that's it's a new different tension. As a Black person over here, I don't have to deal with the foolery over in Louisiana because it's so concentrated as black and white. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Over here, Texas has an arrogance about it with its racism and things like that. It's just to be an asshole. That's all it is.
Mhm.
Louisiana people just uneducated. Here, it's like I don't want to. I want to be an asshole. That's how the
Mhm.
Texas mentality is. I'm like, why? Like you can't. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot. So pray for the leather people here in Texas, especially during this election season, because they trying over here. They're trying. And what I think is important for me, and why I am, I say people of color, but then I start saying, well, no, this is like homogenizing it. Am I now doing all lives matter when I say that? And so I guess for me, I'm just like the Black experience is specific to Black people. You can't deny that. They have to deal with slavery, all of these things. Every day waking up and being Black is a obstacle. And I don't think people understand that. Me and my friend Jay, Wolf Pup Saturn,
Yeah, yeah.
Black Ben and
Love
Gator,
him.
he's truly helped me and be there for me. And this is the closest I've ever had a relationship with the Black community, and it makes me feel so good that I can be seen and acknowledged as that. But I'm saying that Black people deserve their story to be told. They deserve it to be understood. We're still not there. It's sad, but people forget. When the slaves were freed, it wasn't like they were offered housing and good schools and things like that. It took 100 years, a hundred
Mhm.
years, and
And then to answer to kind of, well, make a statement, is that I've heard that before in spaces that I've done activism work, is that all lives matter. All lives do matter. All lives do matter. But until we start perpetuating that in its realest form, then it means nothing to me when people say that, because I know that that reflection that they're giving, it doesn't include me. It includes what the country was founded on, and that was on thievery and other things. And it wasn't built. I wasn't built into the Constitution, and my people are still not built into the Constitution. And until my life matter, I'm not listening to any of that type of rhetoric. So I'm very specific in what my body of work is moving forward, and I'm only just concerned about that right
So
now.
doing this is great because I get to do so much in 30
Mm,
minutes, really. I mean, we're not having these kind of conversations freely like this. But I do want to point out that I did have Dennis Chow. He works for Ashwell here for Asian Visibility. It's a different
mm,
conversation. People understand that I'm not having a Black people conversation with an Asian person. And we talk
mm.
about what Asian people go through, which is completely different than what Black people go through.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think that you have to acknowledge everybody's uh, essentially the obstacles that were put before us because of our color of our skin. And this is what gets me. And I tell people, you have got it is you have got to find something to do if you wake up and someone's skin color is how you base your every move and thought every day. That blows my mind because that is so minimal, and you're literally planning your day around hating someone because of their skin color because you don't have anything else to do.
It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of
You don't
energy.
have nothing to do, and racism is something to do.
Right. And then the sad part is that it is taught. And I for the life of me, and I'm from a really small town in Georgia where black people lived on one side of the tracks and white people lived on the other side of the tracks. And the only thing that saved me was that I come from a family of well-to-do entrepreneurs. So I had no choice. I couldn't bring a C or a D home. It was education that was going to be forced down my throat from grades 1 through 12, and then all the way through college and through my military career, and then me going to Delta Airlines. It's education saved my life. So there's no excuse. And it's not for black people to tell white people. I'm just using this as an example because I've given it during the keynote. It's not the job of black people to tell white people, this is what you're doing to hurt me. It's for other white people to check those counterparts and tell other white people, you shouldn't do this. And that's the only way that this thing is going to end, unless they criminalize racism. So,
Well, you want to believe that it can't happen, but look how things are playing out. And it's just like this doesn't make any sense right now. It really, truly
yeah,
doesn't.
we
To be
can, we, there's still room for us. There's still room for us to love each other. We
that's
all
true.
have the capacity to love.
But just to kind of end things and relating back to that,
For
I
sure.
grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood. I was the only Black kid and gifted and talented. To be educated was to be white. That's how I was treated. Just
Yeah.
because I could say a word, "Oh, you talk white." No, I'm just talking. But to the point, I went to a Black church on Sundays. Everyone treated me great. I have that. I'm so glad that I did go to church and have those positive experiences with the Black community and felt a part of it. When I was at school, that was different. That church element wasn't there. And so I was a threat, oh, he's getting the girls or this or that, or he thinks it's not. It literally is what I had on my plate. But my Black experience is different that I was not in the ghettos. I have cousins. I've had cousins die over being shot over $1 before. I know that life. I know what it's about. I just happened to fall on the other side of the tracks. And so I had to deal with racism in a much more in your face way because my peers were white growing up. And what I want to point out to you is that the races are really a small fraction. It's the people that are just not doing anything. And
Mhm.
they don't think that they can speak against another white person. That's all I can assume with it. It's like, oh, well, I'm for white people, so I'm going to keep my mouth right. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is, but we got these like what I'm going to say, people that might be voting Republican, that are just doing it because that's what they think white people are supposed to do.
Yes.
And if you don't think the type of energy that's in that party isn't the same energy back during the slavery times, y'all are fools, because it's the same people. Same people. If they could have us in chains right now, they would.
There's a statement that I wrote, and I quoted the slave master Willie Lynch. Um, we've been taught, well, I know this is a little bit off subject since we're talking about, racism and all this stuff, but Willie Lynch had this statement that he would tell all slave masters: keep the body, take the mind. Keep the body, take the mind. So when people have divided us as Black people, they want us to be against each other. And you being, Creole from New Orleans, from Louisiana, that was something to separate us, was to tell each other how ugly we were because of big nose, big lips.
Or you're
You're
not
against
black
each other.
enough, or you're not
You're,
black.
you're not right. Quantifying your Blackness, baby. All that matters is that you have the capacity to have compassion and love for your fellow man. That's it. That's where it starts. And there's no excuse for racism. And I had a brief conversation with an elected official, and I won't call their name. And they said, Tobias, what would you do to fix racism? And then I'm gonna let you go. I said, if you criminalize it, that's the only thing that white people understand, is when you hit them in the pocket. Criminalize the intent of racism, the physical and the verbal. However you criminalize that, citation, felony, whatever. When you criminalize it, people will understand that.
Baby
And
white
that's it.
people will go ape shit.
Three,
And I said, but I
three.
believe it. Racism should be a crime if there's an intent. Yes, baby. And let me tell you something, because if I went and posted on my Facebook wall, where some white people, well, no, you can't do that. Why would you want to do that? Because of you. That's why.
I'm telling you, there are certain words when I'm in London that I cannot use because it is a crime. It is a crime. It is a crime. And now everything is so sensitive and on pins and needles, misgendering, mispronoun, all that stuff. Everything is a learning curve, but certain things are absolute. So we can talk for hours on that.
And let me tell you, because there's been some good conversations on this.
And then within the gay community,
Oh,
let's
don't
not forget
get
about
racist
that.
in the gay community, because I'm coming from Lafayette, Louisiana, and
Right.
baby, like me and Kenzo had a conversation about that. Kenzo, we were just
He's in
talking.
Atlanta right now. I'm going to see him as soon as I get off with you.
Yeah, me and Kenzo were just talking about, because Kenzo knows where I'm from and all that stuff, and it's just like gay white people are racist because they also vote Republican.
Thumb, Lewis.
And then, well, I'm in there, let's say some, but it's a lot. Some, it's concentrated. It's a lot. Trust me, go over there. If somebody wants to say I'm wrong, come on, baby. Come on.
Come on.
I would take everybody where they need to go and show it and point to it. Where I had to come, when I got to Austin, this is the first time that I felt like Black gay men were treated as human beings and not just a penis. That's what I know is over there. They don't want to be seen with a Black person, but they want them in the bed. That's what's going on over there. I'm not lying. So that brings us to the end of this show today. I mean, no one's ever going to say these things, so someone has to just say it. I mean, if someone wants to challenge them, I can tell you what I went through over there, and I
I
know
do want to reference. I
buzz.
do want to reference something.
Yes.
If you want to read an article that I wrote about a broken system within a broken system, just Google "A Broken System Within a Broken System" by J. Tobias Perry. Read it.
Yeah.
Read it. Read it.
That's what we have to do. No, we can have some conversations.
Yeah.
All right, Tobias, this has been great. I'm definitely going to try to get you back on here as soon as possible, because there's just so much I feel like that really would be helpful to talk about. I'm glad we talked about what we did
Yeah.
on this show, but you're full of so much wealth and knowledge, and I appreciate you.
Thank
I
you,
look
baby.
forward to our relationship growing. I look forward to
Yeah.
seeing you. Thank you so much for taking your time for doing this because I have so much respect for you.
Thank you.
Uh,
I really appreciate it. Thank
yeah.
you, Lewis.
So
I
go
re-
ahead.
Yo,
What's up?
go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was about to say my catch lines. Go on to talk.
No, I thoroughly appreciate you. I love you, brother. I love the work that you're doing. Keep it up. Keep it up. Call me anytime. I love this. This is what makes us a better community. This is what keeps information in the ears and mouths of those that are going to push leather culture forward. So just keep doing it, keep spreading love, and know that there's a place for all of us in this big old world.
It is. I tell you that you don't have to make life harder for other people. It makes no sense.
Mm-mm.
Well,
No.
y'all, this comes to the end, and stay for more. Well, next week we got more Pride Explosion. We're gonna be having Pup Kylo, Mama Don, and Pup Atlas. Pup Atlas got Pup, and Mama Don got Handler. And then Pup Kylo is a very prominent pup in the community. We're actually gonna be talking about encompassing the culture of care, and it's going to be more about how to care for each other, and
Mm.
coming down to how to touch and be appropriate and things like that. So it's going to be a very interesting conversation, and we'll be
Mm.
talking about the pup community too, because Mama Don she's very much about people feeling human, and so it's going to be a very cool conversation. So that brings us to the end, and y'all remember, y'all, there's one thing that you have to keep in mind: if you're not throwing light, you're not acting right. That's the end, y'all. Thank you, Tobias.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.